In our business, we have a lot of repeat type work to a certain degree. So the way I explain it in our business is we have a large funnel that tries to capture as many different types of jobs, but always try to get them back to our standard methodology of how we operate. It all comes from that same point where we were trying to get a common way of developing our system. Sandy in particular is from a systems background, and I myself as an engineer have that inherently in what I do too. So we were trying to come up with a common way of working, and having worked with Amanda for the last couple of years, it certainly was a very, very easy way for us to line that up, and it was actually really good timing that the program came available. So Sandy is our operations manager. Her role is a little bit at the moment, whilst we're developing some of these things, is a bit of a everything person, and the whole point of doing this is to streamline those workflows for not only our engineering and asset management and design and supply departments, but the actual operation of the business itself. Systems are everything for us. Like I said, our whole business model, we're effectively a remote type business, so we operate our business from a central headquarters, but there's a lot of flexibility in how and where we work. The reason we had to set it up was because we do a lot of remote work. So sites out in the middle of nowhere, very little communication in a lot of senses of the word. So we had to have a really clear way of operating so that when we were back in range, everything worked back together, and then it just inherently flowed into flexible work arrangements too, because it's the same thing. So Sandy in particular has really worked really hard alongside Amanda for this in the last couple of months, I'd say the last 3 months. In the last 90 days, we've seen high levels of engagement with the systems and processes development. We've seen a common communication framework, which effectively means that we're all speaking the same language, and we're getting high levels of ownership. And as a business owner, I've been able to step away from some of the finer detail things, which has been fantastic, to the point where I've even had a holiday. Amanda is a very easy person to work with. She is so knowledgeable about all topics. She's very approachable. She has been someone through the whole development of the business from when I first started through to now, has always been there as an ear and able to, she always goes the extra mile when it comes to this stuff. Like, she really cares, and it's really an honour to be able to work with her in these, and to actually then be able to develop our business in the back end of all of that, great experience in the front end anyway. It's just, it's fantastic. So communication, ownership, and just the team engagement. I think everyone's now at the point where when you're trying to introduce new systems, and you've got people working on all different departments and things, you're trying to bring everything together in one. There's always a little bit of cultural pushback, and it's not a negative thing. It's just that get out of my way, I'm trying to do the work sort of thing. But being adamant that this is a critical piece of our business has really, really instantly changed it. Like, we have actual departmental cohesion now. Like, we're having those communications where it's like Department A says, I need this information, and Department B is building that into what they're scoping, so that they already have the data there before it's even asked. So we're front loading that in order to try and streamline our communications. That's probably the biggest one for us. We're a relatively small team, but we have large impact, and we have other partners that help us do that, and we can't do that with poor communication. Amanda, like I said, goes the extra mile. She actually really cares what the outcomes are. You get a great rapport with her, and it's been a no-brainer. And literally anyone who is looking for business coaching, I would highly recommend Amanda and also the Imagine8 crew. So I think that it has been a real game changer for me. Having not run a business prior to this, coming in and just having some structure around it, having the accountability, that was a big one. In fact, on my vision board that we sort of first put together at the start, one of the things was who's going to kick my rear end if I didn't do the particular task that I was going to do, and I really needed that as someone who was trying to make all these decisions whilst running a business, trying to be on their feet and agile with that. The accountability was absolutely required, and Amanda was very good at keeping me in line with that, and without being too pressuring or anything. So she didn't get in the way of what I was trying to do either, which was fantastic. So.